Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. Hello and good morning. Happy to see everybody here this morning. My name is Gabrielle Garcina Bobro, and I'm a member of the parish board. Love the activity here today. Welcome to First Church. Welcome to this warmth, to this connection, to this purpose, and to this love. It is good to be together, and we're so glad you're here this morning. We have a few announcements before we get going. You may be glad to hear we're approaching the end of the active period of this year's stewardship campaign. This means a couple of things. If you've already pledged, a huge thank you. If you haven't yet pledged, please do by March 1st. Next week is Celebration Sunday, which recognizes the generous financial support of the church community. We hope you'll join us for a service of special music and a coffee hour with delicious treats. Thank you for pledging. This Friday and every Friday at 5 p.m., you can join the Stand Out Against ICE and For Our Democracy. Come with signs or just show up, and we give you a candle to hold. At 12:30 today, we are so grateful to have longtime member and Buddhist teacher John Bell presenting a workshop. On Kindness, it is called, and it's in the parish hall. All are welcome. Our next spaghetti dinner is on March 2nd. All are welcome, and we have spots for a few more volunteers. You can check in with Elliot or with Reverend Martha if you'd like to join in on the fun. Your Committee on Ministry is hosting its next listening circle on communication on Sunday, March 8th at 12:30. Come and share celebrations and reflections on the church's communications. There is so much more. On March 9th at 11 a.m. will be Kenneth Stahlberg's service. And there is so much more. Be sure to check out our website or weekly newsletter, The Unitarian, for more information. And always feel free to ask anyone any question that you have. For now, let's take a deepening breath. We arrive in this beautiful place, surrounded by this abundant love. Come, let us worship together.
Morning. I'm Richard Waring from the Worship Committee. And these opening words are by the Reverend Michelle Collins. I love this. Welcome to this place, a place where hope can be nourished. In a world that profits from despair, our gathering is a declaration of faith. We declare that joy still rises, that kindness still matters, that hope is not dead. We come to remember we are not alone. May our time together restore us to wonder, strengthen our resolve, and return us to the world as bearers of hope that sustains the work of resistance. And now I invite you to welcome your neighbor and please greet them with kindness. Please join us in singing our first hymn, 109.
Marching, marching, Good morning, everybody, on this beautiful day. My name is Kathy Lind, and I'm here to share some of my thoughts on being involved in First Church. And this is my younger son, David, who's also going to share his thoughts about it. So 50 years ago, I had no idea how much walking into First Church would shape my life. I first became involved through community efforts, and before long, this church became much more than a place to volunteer. It became my spiritual home. My children attended preschool here, sang in musicals, participated in youth group and service trips. They were encouraged to ask questions, think for themselves, and respect others' journeys. I still remember my daughter Julia, at the age of 12, at the dinner table one night said, "I'm just so glad I'm a Unitarian." Like, you never know, you know? So I said, "Why?" And she said, well, many of her friends attended another church in town where they were beginning to question maybe some of the things we've been taught didn't gel with the realities of the world. And she said, "I'm just so glad that I can ask questions." She knew she was in a place here where questioning was welcomed. This church has also been a sanctuary in the hardest moments. When my husband Walter became ill and passed away in 2007, this community carried me. The chalice that we light each morning here was given in his memory by his book club, a reminder that what we build here endures. And my grandchildren look at that chalice and they can see Walter's name on the plaque on that piece of wood. It's great. My children and my grandchildren, the 5 that live in Belmont, see First Church as a community where we hold vigils on the curb to support human rights, to protect our fragile democracy, to create awareness of the climate crisis, and many others. They see us creating meal trains to support those in need, raising money for social action, helping to support our Afghan friends, folks caring for each other. Our church is a community of action, and I am blessed to be part of it. My youngest grandchild, Betsy, who is now 8, in one of those rare moments when you have them alone in the car, she said to me a couple weeks ago, "Grammy, I know you don't have a job, you don't work, but she said, what do you do all day? I mean, what do you do when you're not doing something for First Church or being with us?" So she knows that First Church and family are my top priorities. Now, none of this happens by accident. It happens because generations before us chose to support this church with their time, their energy, their financial commitment. Their giving created this space that shaped my children and now shapes my grandchildren. I give because I am grateful and because I want this church to remain strong for the generations still to come. Now I watch my grandchildren grow up in the same community, pasta nights, musicals, family programs, and I see the same spirit of love and belonging. And now you'll get to hear my son David.
I'm just glad that Mom didn't say that when she's not with us or here, she's probably driving to Costco to pick us up a whole bunch of food. Growing up here, I experienced this church as a place where I could ask questions and be myself. What strikes me now is how rare that kind of space really is, and how important it is to sustain it. In so many parts of our kids' lives, there's pressure. Sports, school, performances, competition. There's winners and there's losers, gold medals and silver. There's expectations and there's comparisons. First Church is different. Here they get to just be. They're valued not for how they perform, but for who they are. It's also one of the few places where their relationships are not limited to their own age group. They connect with peers, but also with adults who know them, who care about them, and who show up consistently for them. That kind of multi-generational community doesn't just happen. It takes intention, it takes leadership, and it takes resources. Monday Night Pasta is a perfect example. The kids love the freedom to sit with friends and talk and eat cookies unsupervised. Laura and I love not having to cook or do dishes. But what we're really supporting when Laura and I give is we donate to the space and the staff and the stability that make those simple, meaningful moments possible week after week for so many families. When we donate to First Church, we're not just covering expenses. We're investing in a community that shapes character, nurtures belonging, and connects the generations. This church has shaped me. It supported my mom and my dad, and it's shaping my kids. That's why Laura and I prioritize First Church, not out of obligation, but out of the belief that this place is what is so special.
This is the time in our service where we invite the children to come forward and listen to a story, or to continue playing, or the young at heart to come forward and listen to a story up close and personal. And here we go, the sun coming. Today's story is by Tessa Allen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Maybe. Just forgot the picture. Right up front. Right here. Perfect. Sometimes ants march. Sometimes bands march. Sometimes people march. Marching is something people do together when they want to resist injustice, or when they notice a need for a change. People march for many reasons. People march for things they care about and the people they love. People march for health of their bodies and their communities and the world. People march for freedom to love and live and learn. Sometimes people carry signs to tell about what they're marching for. People resist in many ways. Sometimes people resist with their voices.
What does democracy sound like?
This is what democracy sounds like.
They might resist with words.
The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them.
Or with song. Or art. People resist with meetings. They resist by standing up or sitting down or kneeling. It isn't easy. Feet get tired, arms get tired, hearts and hopes get tired. Sometimes problems seem too big or complex, but we do not march alone. Ants together are stronger. Choirs together are louder. People are more powerful together. Sometimes from feeling of fear or anger or injustice comes the hope for change. Sometimes great changes start small with a simple question. Maybe your question. A question that calls people together, and together they find the courage to march. I now ask the children to rise and follow Reverend Martha as you march down for your opening classes.
Good morning. My name is Gabby Darshina Babro, and I am a member of the worship committee. And today I'm going to share with you a brief reflection on our current theme of resistance. I begin with lyrics from the song Emphasis by Ryan O'Neill, a singer-songwriter central to the music project called Sleeping at Last. The smartest thing I've ever learned is that I don't have all the answers, just a little light to call my own. Though it pales in comparison to the overarching shadows, a speck of light can reignite the sun and swallow darkness whole. Resistance, as we know, can show up as an opposing force, one that feels compelled to address another force, to combat it, to point a finger. All of these manifestations being relevant as we witness some moral framework derailed, without virtue, without balance, in the dark, and sometimes unrecognizable. In the face of this darkness as a power, and knowing that to resist is crucial, I reflect on light as a form of resistance. Light contributes to the essential balance of our days and of our universe. It is pure, consistent, assistive. In the story that was shared now by Michael, the words of Ida B. Wells, pioneering Black investigative journalist, suffragist, civil rights leader, and co-founder of the NAACP, are featured on a sign. The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them. The light of truth. At present, we do not live in a wholly truth-based society. As we search for answers to how to repair our society to one we can recognize, I wonder, what are the best tools for this? What does resistance to wrongs look like when it is also called to rebuild and to restore balance? Is it not unlike the singing resistance in Minneapolis, shining the light of the beauty that is music? They sing, "Put down your weapons, come sing your part. We walk the same ground, but we've been torn apart." Considering this, I land on a tool which can be tricky to wield in a polarized world: curiosity. Authentic curiosity and the will to openly listen can bring opposing sides closer. While listening may not result in shared truths, without proximity, there is little hope for connection. Without proximity to hear, each other's light is muted by the shadows of opposition, of unknowing, of shock. Light cannot break through. We at First Church are no strangers to listening. We are professionals at connecting, at being able to hold our arms open and wide to the lived experience of others. This is the light that we can call our own. Our gifts are grounded in light, and as you will hear later this morning, also in love. As quiet and as passive as it can feel, we must stay grounded. You may remember the sermon of the Reverend Mary Margaret Earle from the UU Urban Ministry on feeling grounded. Without grounding, this resistance, this curiosity, this light has trouble. The Reverend Cameron Trimble, in his reflection, The Tiger and the Strawberry, says, "There are many who will say this moment is too dangerous to rest, too urgent to delight, too fragile for presence. But urgency without grounding turns into panic. Panic is what authoritarianism feeds on. On the site One Mind blog, an individual referred to as Pierre says, "Surrender is certainly not the lack of action. Surrender is a deep willingness to not avoid or escape or resist any part of life itself, but to meet it face to face with our eyes and our heart wide open so that we can see exactly what it is that we are dealing with." Abraham Johannes Must, one of the foremost proponents of nonviolence in the United States, was once asked by a reporter, "Do you really think you are going to change the policies of this country by standing out here alone at night in front of the White House with a candle?" Must replied softly, "Oh, I do not do this to change the country. I do this so that the country won't change me." "The smartest thing I've ever learned is that I don't have all the answers, just a little light to call my own. Though it pales in comparison to the overarching shadows, a speck of light can reignite the sun and swallow darkness whole."
Now, we'll have an offering. Goes to the Union Ministry, where Margaret Earl preaches. Offer you, give us gently time in our service when we light candles of concern and celebration. It is a most precious time, the most precious thing we do as a community. We, as a member of the caring community, offer meal trains and rides to church and many other ways of connecting and sharing our love with one another. But right now, if you'd like to light a candle privately, we have candles in the back that you can light. But if you'd like to come forward and share with the community your thoughts, your feelings, now is the time. And I would ask that you This is for those doing the work of resistance, hopeful and exhausted, by the Reverend Michelle Collins. Spirit of community, source of renewal, some days our hearts beat with fire, plan making, chanting, moving, imagining. Other days the spark barely flickers. The work seems endless, but we are not. Help us honor the cycle, the surge, the setback, the pause. Teach us to rest without guilt, to act without self-righteousness, to remember that resistance too lives in laughter, in tenderness, in dance, in song. May this gathering refill what the world drains, so we can return again to the work, still imperfect, still alive, still willing. Amen.
And now we invite you to rise in body, rise in spirit as you are willing and able, and join us in hymn number 1035 in the Teal hymnal, Freedom is Coming. The community choir is going to start singing the melody, and I invite all of the congregation to join us on the melody. We'll sing through it, and I invite you to hear this as a bit of a chant, and then we'll be joined by the senior choir as well. After singing Freedom is Coming a handful of times, we sing Oh Yes I Know twice, and then back to Freedom is Coming. So join us.
Good morning.
I'm Leslie Talmadge, and I'm also a member of the worship committee. I've been thinking about what it means to practice resistance the last couple of weeks. As a 6-year-old, I can remember sitting with my mom at the Friends Quaker Meeting House in San Francisco, sealing envelopes with letters protesting the Vietnam War. And then there are those vague memories of holding up peace signs with my parents at anti-war protests in Golden Gate Park. From a much later date, I have a newspaper clipping from the local paper showing my 85-year-old grandmother Shar, dressed in her favorite green polyester pantsuit, dancing for world peace, as the headline read. No doubt, these were small actions, but nonetheless revealing ones. Resistance always entails action. As the late Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh observed, once there is seeing, there must be acting. Otherwise, what is the use of seeing? The actions of resistance themselves can vary wildly, and they needn't be momentous or dramatic. Writing, letters, postcards, articles, protesting and marching, and yes, even dancing. All of these matter. Not surprisingly, you, our friends of this church, are resistors who have worked tirelessly to advance freedom, equality, and justice. During the 1960s, one of you applied for conscientious objector status and moved to Canada rather than fight in a war you didn't believe in. In the 1970s, one of you started Youth Build, a national organization that empowers young people from low-income backgrounds. In the 1990s, in response to the LA riots, one of you started Belmont Against Racism. 20 years ago, one of you, I'm looking at you, Fran, started the Belmont LGBTQ+ Alliance to support gay students at Belmont High. Others of you worked to pass our state's marriage equality law. I could go on listing all that you have done, organizing food drives for Boston Medical Center's Grow Clinic, writing postcards to support voting rights, starting our dialogue about reparations at First Church. Think about all of that. These many acts, all intended to challenge the status quo, started right here. I'm reminded of Jimmy Stewart and his epiphany in the film It's a Wonderful Life. What would our small town of Belmont be like if you all and our predecessors had never existed? In the end, you have taught me that resistance takes persistence, courage, and also love. A month ago, several of you went to Burlington on the day that Maria Macario, a refugee from Guatemala, had to report to ICE officials there. What was the purpose of your presence? To show Maria and her family that they were loved. They were not alone. More recently, in sub-zero temperatures and at real personal risk, Reverend Martha joined clergy members in Minneapolis to protest ICE violence and to demand an end to immigrant deportations. What did they do? They prayed, they sang. Their example proved again that showing up matters. During these times that so many feel overwhelming, sad, and frightening, this community has shown me that acts of resistance do add up to something profound, that protests and strikes do lead to change. Thank you for demonstrating what it means to practice resistance with love, and may we all find the courage to keep going.
And now we invite you to rise in body, rise in spirit, and join us in our final hymn, also in the Teal hymnal, number 1017, Building a New Way.
Our benediction is by the Reverend Michelle Collins. Leave this place with hope rekindled, not as wishful thinking, but as stubborn practice. In a world drenched with despair, choose joy, choose action, choose to believe another way is possible, and live as if it is already breaking through. And we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, but the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.